Hi everyone, and welcome to What's the Stitch, a weekly web series where I answer all of your burning questions about sewing, cosplay, and costuming. Now, I've been cosplaying for a few years now, and for me one of the hardest things about costuming isn't getting it all together, how to do the fine details. It's not even picking the fabric, which in itself is a trial, but actually picking what to make to begin with. So I thought that that's what we'd talk about today. So the first thing that you're going to want to consider is your budget. I hate to say it, I'm going to harp on this a lot, but your budget is important. But it's not just how much money you're willing to put into this, but how much time. But let's start with the money first. How much do you actually have to spend on this project? How much do you want to spend on this project? Now, it doesn't matter if you are ordering the costume online or if you're making it yourself, you're probably going to be limited by your finances in some fashion. Is it just the outfit that you're making, or are there props involved? Do you need some great sword or a staff, or does your character have a different color hair than you? Do you need to wear a wig? How much is the shipping going to cost you if you are ordering things online? Are there things that maybe you could find in a secondhand store that would work for your costume and save you the ordering time and the shipping costs? And like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have to budget your time as well. How much time do you have until your event? How much time do you have to spend on making this if you're making it yourself? Unfortunately, schooling full-time jobs, they do often limit the time that we have available to make these projects. Are you ordering your costume or your props online? How long will that take to ship? That's going to be something very important to factor in as well. And how many pieces are in your costume? How long will they take to make? There's a big difference in time scale between making a cute little white sundress and doing something like, say, Doctor Strange that has 3 different layers and a lot of hand-done detail. Something that you are going to have to consider is not only what kind of materials you're going to need, but how much. We have talked about this briefly in a previous video, how much to estimate for your fabric needs, but you're also going to want to consider your closures, your belt. How is it going to come together? Are you going to have to use an invisible zipper? Does it have a corset back? These are all things to keep in mind. And of course, most of these things aren't really simple. They often use trims or embellishments to make them stand out more. And of course, with that in mind, are you even going to be able to find the fabric that you're looking for? That is honestly one of the most challenging things when it comes to putting a costume together. You may have found the perfect project, something that is going to be fun and look cool, and it's a character that you love, but you may be completely unable to find the fabric that you're looking for this project. For this reason, I actually suggest having a backup plan just in case. I usually go in having 2 favorites in mind, that way I can kind of broaden my scope as to what I'm looking for. For me, my 2 main choices are Critical Role's Raven Queen or Regency Princess Serenity. Now, just based on what I was able to find, I definitely ended up going with the Raven Queen, but I'm definitely saving Serenity for a later project because I think that's going to be really fun to work on. And of course, the most important thing when it comes to picking a costume is, what do you want to wear? Your favorites are important, and it's not against the rules to tweak the costumes based on your preferences or comfort levels. If you want to tweak the colors so it's a little bit more flattering for you, go ahead. Do you want to play with an AU? Cool. I would love to see your inspiration art. Some of the coolest cosplays that I've seen at conventions are original characters and crossover designs, so I really love to see the inspiration behind them. Also consider if you're wanting to make any modifications to the character's costume, not just for aesthetic, but for your comfort or for practicality. The fact is, character designers rarely work with real people or costumers in mind, especially if they're working on an animated series. Would it kill them to add some scene lines? Seriously, I'm dying. Tell me how this fits together. Is it a princess seam? Is it like stretchy and only gets together at the sides? Like, please, tell me. I'm begging you. Send me your production sketches. I want to know. And also, the fact is, there is absolutely no shame in making alterations to fit a regular human body, especially if the costume that you're choosing is from an animated character. So some modifications that you might want to keep in mind. Flat boots. Save yourself the pain. Do not do a convention in heels. If you can do it, great, more power to you, but maybe save that for photo shoots, because wearing heels for 8 hours can be just extremely painful, and it can kind of wreck your day by the end of it. Another thing to be considering is adding straps. The fact is that gravity is variable in animated worlds, so straps are good for support and comfort. Clear elastic is a great thing to use if you want to keep with the strapless bodice look, but actually have some more support to it, but actual straps aren't a bad thing either. Another thing you can consider is wearing a pair of shorts or even a pair of leggings underneath one of the skirts. Upskirt shots don't usually happen in animated series unless they want them to, and unfortunately real people are not that lucky. So usually having something underneath is a good plan. Sometimes it's just for modesty's sake, and sometimes the fact is that, it's cold outside during convention season, so if you're going to be outside at all, having a pair of leggings underneath is not a terrible plan. Look at some of the Wonder Woman designs, or even the new ones for the CW Supergirl series. Her joy in actually being able to wear pants while she's flying around and kicking ass is something that we all share, especially because it's a lot more comfortable than trying to do all this stuff in a mini skirt. Alright everyone, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed that, give me a like below. And if you want to be notified when I post a new video, just ring that bell up above here. If you have any great tips for how to narrow down your character choices or how to modify your costumes for comfort, leave a comment below and I can add them to another video, or I'll share them on my social media. Thank you so much, have a great day, and I'll see you next week.